Chapter 1218. Brahm was at the sanctuary level. The force of his blow was enough to split open mountains. Yet, Ferris merely pointed at the hammer, and a beam of grey light shot right at it. Brahm was sent flying along with his hammer, and a crater formed beneath his feet when he landed. Eileen and Brahm exchanged a look of alarm and worry. The two of them did not seem to be able to stand up to Ferris, and Wilbur was practically like an ordinary person at that moment. The situation did not seem very promising. At that moment, Seymour, who had been hiding in a corner, suddenly rushed out and ran to Ferris, shouting, "Chairman, I've always been loyal to you. I don't need trash by my side." Ferris made a grabbing motion, and Seymour's heart exploded. His expression looked incredulous, as if he could not believe what happened. Everyone was incredibly shocked as they tried to hide from Ferris. Ferris seemed like a demon that had just started a slaughter spree at that moment. He did not seem human at all. At that moment, Eileen took a deep breath as the spiritual energy around her jagged long sword surged. Armor appeared around her body as she charged at Ferris. Brahm let out a shout as well. The hammer in his hand lit up in spiritual flames that were surrounded by runes as he charged at Ferris. Two jagged long swords and a massive hammer were attacking various parts of Ferris' body. Ferris smiled coldly. He raised his hand and a grey light appeared around his body. Runes glowed around him, looking incredibly mystical. The jagged long swords were sent flying the moment they hit the barrier. Brahm's massive hammer was sent back as well, and he quickly retreated. The two of them continued to attack. The weapons constantly assaulted the barrier, but they were unable to break through it. Instead, the two of them started to bleed. The crowd was shocked when they saw that. Was Ferris unbeatable? If that continued, they would all die. Suddenly, fear rose in their hearts again. They looked at Wilbur collectively. At that moment, Wilbur merely stood expressionlessly. There was no trace of spiritual energy around his body at all. Everyone's heart sank again. Ferris had causally stopped Eileen and Brahm's attacks and was constantly walking toward Wilbur. "My life's work had been ruined by you, so you need to pay for it with your life," Ferris shouted ferociously. His hands started to cast spells. A horrifying aura rose from his body. When Eileen and Brahm saw that, they started to attack again. Jagged long swords and the hammer constantly rained down attacks upon Ferris. Wilbur had lost all his strength and was not at a level that could match Eileen and Brahm. There was no way he could defeat Ferris. So, they had to put their lives on the line against Ferris, otherwise, no one would have a chance of surviving. However, Ferris' defense was insanely powerful. The two of them attacked frantically. However, not only were their attacks ineffective, but they suffered injuries from that instead. By then, Ferris was about a dozen meters in front of Wilbur. He stopped, and the spell was already finished casting. A wave of dangerous and horrifying aura rose. Eileen and Brahm were shocked. That dangerous feeling was absolutely fatal. It was not something they could stand up against. "Fall back," Wilbur shouted.